So we will quickly go through this. What is, yesterday we have studied a little bit about human resource development. So what is the definition? What are the functions? What are the practices for the training program? So we'll just quickly go through the links. So at least you will remember, yes, something is there. Mr. Martin, is the screen visible, Martin?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So HRD is very much important, very much essential because today's business environment is very dynamic, uh, and every company they have to acquire, retain, and develop the top talent. So HRD plays very important role, and how the employee capabilities can be enhanced. It can be enhanced through training. Then getting feedback is very important. Internal mobility means like internal transfer. That is, if the staff or if the workers, if they are working continuously in the same department, in the same sections, then many times they feel that it's a stagnant and there is no growth. So that's why transfer to other section by proper training is very much essential. As you know, sorry, historical development, because of the continuous lectures, throat is little bad. So as you know that it started in 1920, and positively it started coming from 1970. So what are the five key functions of HRD? So first function is talent sourcing and acquisition. That is strategies for talent sourcing and acquisition. Now you may be knowing how the companies they approach the campus, or they approach to the newspaper, or they approach to the consultants. Then second function is education oriented employee benefits. So many companies they have policies for sponsorships, like for example L&T. So they sponsor for ME, MTech, Wipro or TCS. They sponsor again for ME, MTech, and they have very good institutions, like they have MOUs, that is memorandum of understanding with BITS Pilani, some of the IITs also, some of the regional colleges they have memorandum of understanding. So of course you have to have eligibility for that. There are certain eligibility will be there. Sometimes some companies they ask you to sign the bond, that is for the service bond, that is after completing the higher education you have to serve the organization for minimum period of 3 years or 5 years depending upon the organization, because the company they have invested in you. So definitely they will look for the returns. Some company they have sponsorship, like full-time sponsorship, so they'll sponsor you for 2 years or 1 year full time. Some companies they have parallel activities, like weekend program or correspondence or part-time, like in the evening. So they have uh, certain, means they give certain privileges or some kind of adjustment, like a short leave, like you can leave 1 hour or 2 hours earlier, or you can take one day off, depending upon the requirement. Performance measurement and management, this is the heart of the human resource development. You know that everything has to be measurable, everything has to be measurable. Whether it is tangible or intangible, it is always better that You should measure all the performances. You should measure all the benefits. Then fourth function is continuous learning and in-house learning programs and in-house development programs. So many MNCs they have this training department itself. Even the companies like textile companies, textile organizations like say Bombay Dyeing, and so they have a full-fledged training department, and that is headed by uh, training officers, a manager who is at the level of sometimes at the level of GM or sometimes at the level of deputy. In BST, if you visit Wadala, they have one full-fledged training center, not only for apprentices but for professional officers, for graduate engineer trainees also. Some companies which cannot afford this training center, then they hire the services from the consultancy, from the third party. So the consultants they have on their panel, so they come and train the peoples, or the MNC or the companies they send the peoples to the consultancy, like suppose say Festo, for example, they are into pneumatics, or say SMC. So they will have a week's training program or 15 days training program. So wherein if your company is small, you can send your staff over there for a week's training. Internal mobility, that is internal transfer, and succession planning. Succession planning means like before you transfer somebody from one department to other department, it is necessary that uh, that whatever the void or the vacancy which is going to be created because of the transfer, that has to be filled in, or you have options available for that. That is what is called as the successor. And that's why you if you want to develop, or if you want to get promoted to the higher position, then you have to see that who will be my successor. See, एक mindset रहता है कि आई विल नॉट शेयर, क्योंकि एक माइंडसेट रहता है कि इफ आई शेयर समथिंग एंड इफ समबडी कैन सुपरसीड मी, देन आई विल नॉट बी एनीवेयर, ऐसे द कंपनी कैन रिट्रेंच मी. But that is not so. If there is no replacement for you, then you will not be promoted, you will remain at that position. If you are giving replacement for the organization, yes, after me this Mr. X, he can take over. So then only you can grow. And not only this, but it is also good, like suppose if you are going to retire, somebody is joining, if there is a retirement, then before it for it has to be very smooth. After retirement, you cannot give your charge. There is something called as the charge handover. You have to hand over the charge to the person who is capable, who is trained. It should be a smooth transition. And ऐसा नहीं है कि आफ्टर रिटायरमेंट यू आर थ्रोन अवे फ्रॉम द कंपनी. ऐसा नहीं होता है. द कंपनी कैन स्टिल हायर योर सर्विसेज एज अ कंसल्टेंट, और एज अ visiting, or as so. But that mindset has to go, कि uh, if I share or if I train somebody, then my job will be lost. So that fear of retrenchment should not be there. And for that, mostly the management, top management is responsible. It is their duty, or it is the duty of HRD department, that the staff should not feel that if he is training somebody else, or if he is sharing with somebody, then staff should not feel that he will not be there tomorrow, or he won't be no more. He won't be no more. So that is the duty, or that is the function of HRD. That staff should work freely. They should work with free mind. They should share the things. And it is obvious also that peoples may fear, because everybody has a fear of retrenchment. Everybody is worried about their job. How to start a human resource development program? So first, you have to assess internal external talent potential. So what is the potential I have? Many HR department, they send a circular to the various departments. So they try to understand the needs from the various department. What are the needs of the department? So it will go to the gear shop, assembly line, engine shop, to the managers. So the managers, he has some requirement. He knows this fellow has joined new, so he needs some training. So internal and external talent potential, that has to be assessed. Then you map your human resource training and development objectives. So like you are going to conduct a training program, then that has to be mapped with your objectives. Okay, like what are my course objectives, like what are the objectives of teaching production tooling, what are the objective of teaching IHRM. So that has to be matched with what I am delivering, with what I am teaching, what lessons I am teaching, that has to be matched. That is very much important. So it has to be in line with, that is a teaching or the training has to be in line with the objective. Or it can be beyond objectives also. Understand, no? It can be beyond objectives also, but whatever objectives you have documented, that has to be achieved. Then only you can think of beyond objectives. Identify the resources need for the training and development. So now, do I have the tools for training, or shall I take help from the external? So this is what you have to identify. You means HRD department. Then speak to the stakeholders and obtain buy-in. Speak to the stakeholders mean your employees. You have to speak to the employees. Uh, Communicate with on-ground execution managers. On-ground execution manager means the peoples who are going to conduct the training. Then launch the program and review. This monitoring, review and monitoring is very important at frequent levels. This is very, very important, that continuous review has to be done. Continuous feedback has to be taken. That's why many training program, they take feedback every day on daily basis. They do not wait for weekend feedback. Weekend feedback तो almost every day रहता है, and you might have come across also during this lockdown also online, many online programs, many online programs, they conduct they ask you to fill the feedback form at the end of the day, and then only they mention also that unless and until you submit the feedback, the attendance will not be given. Sometimes some people take the feedback every session wise feedback, session wise. Suppose if there are 3 or 4 sessions, then at the end of session you have to give the feedback, then only you get the attendance for that session. So there are dual purpose in this case. One thing is that they receive the feedback so that they can improve upon, okay, if there are any shortcomings. And another thing is the attendance is also marked. Attendance is also marked because many of the program, the attendance is compulsory. That is, you have to give 70% or 90% attendance in order to get the certificate. Also, you need to attend the test also, and you have to get the marks also, minimum 60% or whatever it is. Then only you are eligible for getting the certificate. So that reviewing, monitoring is very important. Maintenance is very important, and this review monitoring is nothing but maintenance, is nothing but regular follow. Then you have to hit the mark, that is, you have to hit the objectives, you have to achieve the objectives, that human resource development. हर एक बड़ा बड़ा कंपनीज में they have a target, especially in case of safety. So every company, he has a safety engineer and safety officer, so उनका target रहता है ये महीने में और ये साल में इतना जन को फायर एक्सटिंग्विशर का ट्रेनिंग देना है, इतना जन को हाइड्रेंट का ट्रेनिंग, हाउ टू ऑपरेट द हाइड्रेंट, हाउ टू स्टार्ट द compressor ट्रेनिंग देना है कंपल्सरी. सो that is what is called as the objectives, or that is what is called as the targets. And for every training, for every objective, there are some trainer, and those trainers are also called as the owners. Okay, like how to operate the simple, how to operate the fire extinguisher, or how to operate the hydrant. So one trainer is assigned for that. Okay, so his duty is to conduct that training only, fire extinguisher and hydrant. Okay, so he will have, the list, uh, the list of the peoples, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, who are all there, first half May, second half May, like that. Then contain attrition among trained workers by focusing on engagement, that is motivation. Then rewards and recognition to incentivize the learning. That is, if somebody is scoring good, if somebody's attendance is 100%, then he has to be suitably rewarded. Okay, yes, he should be suitably recognized. That is what is called the, so that's a motivation to other people, because many mindset ऐसा रहता है कि चलो अभी स्पॉन्सर किया है 7 दिन के लिए, एक वीक का 5 5 डेज ट्रेनिंग और 6 डेज ट्रेनिंग, तो उसमें 2 दिन तो हम लोग एब्सेंट रहेंगे, अच्छा खाना खाएंगे, हाँ, आराम करेंगे, इधर उधर घूमने को जाएंगे, ऐसा माइंड सेट रहते हैं. ओके, सो दैट्स वाई द टेस्ट इज इम्पॉर्टेंट, एंड दैट्स वाई द पीपल्स, or the trainees who perform well, he has to be rewarded so that other gets motivated. Coordinate pan organizational development. Pan organizational development matlab each and every person in the organization should be trained. Each and every person in the organization has to be trained. That is what is called as the pan India हम लोग बोलते हैं ना. Pan India means what? Throughout the India. Link career progressions to development. Okay, now the use of this training, as I said, should be for enhancing their education, higher educations. Not only the short term training program, but the long term training programs also you have to develop. That is also one of the duty of human resource development. And many companies, they are sponsoring the candidates for higher education. So, human resource training and development should start from day one. The employee joins. Avoid a cookie cutter training and development journey. मतलब no shortcuts. Make the development transferable. हाँ, so like multi skill का जमाना है. So multi skill training. Software tools to support your human resource development program. So now many softwares are available, which makes your HRD, training very easy. These are some softwares, Job Shadow enabled software like Grandshake, Cognisys, Paddle, Gomo. These are some software. So again, some more focus on the activities of HRD. That is understanding the activities of Human Resource Department. So we say that HRD is a pillar of organization. So activities fall under following, 5 functions. That is staffing. Staffing means recruitment of the staffing. Development, you have to develop the peoples or the staff. Compensation, safety and health. This is again the most important, and that also comes under HRD, that is safety engineer or safety officer. They report to the HRD manager. Even now HRD is very big, and HRD is also headed by a president. So you have positions. That means if you join HRD, even the engineers they are joining HRD. So ऐसा नहीं है कि there is a growth only in production department or in purchase department. In HRD also, the highest level is president HRD. Of course, not along with the engineering qualification, it is always advisable to have management qualifications as well. Hmm. Like TCS, so they have their highest level for HRD is president, vice president, then group general manager, GM. So that is the hierarchy. Negotiations with the unions is very important by HRD. And that's why union is covered under a separate chapter, that is in the last module. So staffing is nothing but you have to identify the proper, person or the proper talent as per the requirement. ऐसा नहीं कि it should be a white element or it should be a burden uh, to the organization. Development, compensation, very well. huh? In compensation, it's not only direct salary but privileges like health insurance. Many companies they have insurance schemes. They have retirement plans. Then they have provident fund. So it is the basket is full of benefits. You have to select some policies. Companies they have some policies compulsory, that is it is for everyone, whereas certain policies or certain benefits are applicable only for at certain level, only at certain levels. That is, for example, car. Okay. So companies they do not give car to each and every employee. वर्कर को भी कार नहीं देते. सो और जीडीज को कार नहीं देते. दे आर अलाउ उनको ट्रांसपोर्ट प्रोवाइड करते हैं. ओके. फ्रॉम देयर इज अ पिक देयर इज वन पिकअप पॉइंट एंड to the company. So they can take this benefit. And once you rise to the level of say manager, then you get a company's vehicle. Is still higher level, then you get a chauffeur also, chauffeur driven car. Still higher level, then the organization they also provide you know car for the family to take care of family needs, because they understand that your time is important. So they understand that you should devote more and more time to the organization. So rest of the problems will be taken care by the organization. ऐसा रहते हैं. Safety and health activities. So that is including the new safety measures, safety and compliances, discussing the safety and compliances with the unions, because the normal tendency is to ignore. हाँ, और कौन ग्लोव्स डालते बैठेगा, हु वांट्स टू पुट द हेलमेट. हाँ, चलो ऐसे ही शॉर्टकट्स मारने को देखते हैं. बट देन दैट विल पे इन टर्म्स ऑफ accident. So you have to have a employee and labor relations. So that activities include mediating disagreements between employees and employers. मतलब agreements, good agreements has to be made between employee and employers, between employees and other employees, like um, between the two departments or between the two divisions. Always there is a competition. ऐसा रहता है. Always there is a Nasik division and Mumbai division. Always there will be a competition. And if the competition is with a good intention, then it is fine. But the competition with ill intention, is always bad. It should be a very healthy competition. It should be a good competition. Then claims of harassment. So there is a grievance cell, grievance cell. There is a grievance committee. You know, then like to take care of lady staff especially. Lady staffs, they are abused or they are harassed. So there are women development cells or grievance committee to take care such kind of issues. Then every employee, he has right to understand what is there in his basket. So that has to be discussed uh, well with the employee, and that is HRD ka. Some organizations, they have such a very nicely written HR policies that you don't have to approach physically to the HR team. Very well written. So whenever the a person joins, so beforehand only it is shared with that new employee, so he understand everything clearly written. It's like a book. Depending upon the organization, it's like a book, 10 pages to 50 pages, complete. What are the HR policies? What benefits you can have? What are the eligibility criteria? Everything. So learning objectives. So human is considered as a capital. No. So training and development, and that is every employee has to be trained and development, and then only the organization will develop. Okay. Then in organization development, empowering the organization to take advantage of its human resource capital. That is your employee. You have to give the powers also, of course, as per his level or as per his designation. Okay. Like in many companies, if something is going wrong in a machine or in a line, if he observes that something is wrong, something is against the norm, then he has full authority to stop it immediately. He has full authority, even though he is helper or any, he has full authority to stop the line. It's not necessary that he has to contact the supervisor has to contact manager, सा ऐसा सा हो रहा है, मैं बंद करूँ क्या? No, no need to ask. You stop the line first and then you approach your supervisor or managers. That is what is called as the empowering. Okay. Some companies, even the peoples, like say in purchase department, even though he is fresh, GET, who is now permanent, GETs are not assigned much authorities because they are trainees. Okay. But the peoples who are confirmed, in the establishment, they have authorities that he can sign the purchase order up to certain amount, maybe up to 50,000 or up to 1 lakh. He can sign, he can take the decision on his own. He doesn't have to contact or he doesn't have to get the signature of purchase manager. So up to 1 lakh, he can sign it. Purchase manager, he can sign up to 10 lakhs. Then उसके ऊपर, then for 1 crore or 2 crore, there will be a committee. So that time the two signatures or three signatures will be required for sanction. So selection, training, assessment, rewards, suitable rewards. That is a way of HRD. Now that is the life of HRD, human resource development. Demand planning. So HRD has to work with production or with marketing department as well. So they have to do the forecasting, and accordingly they have to plan. Like suppose a big company, like say Wadila, who are manufacturing ice creams. So they have to plan that the requirement of the staff or requirement of the worker will obviously be more in summer. Coca-Cola plant. Uh, So they know that in summer they need, you know, like suppose in winter if the staff is 100, then in summer there will be need of three times the staff, 300, because the production has to be doubled or tripled. Same umbrella manufacturer. So in case of monsoon, the requirement of umbrella is more. So he knows that he is going to need a good amount of staff in the month of April and May, so that he can produce the required number of umbrellas, desired number of umbrellas in the month of June. So that is what is nothing but the forecasting and planning. Not only this, during festive season, like Mahindra, umbrella manufacturer, sorry, vehicle manufacturer, they know फेस्टिव सीजन में ऑटोमेटिकली गाड़ी का सेल बढ़ने वाला ही है. दिवाली बोलो, दशहरा बोलो. Whereas न्यू ईयर में अगेन इट्स the sale is going to be increased. See, nobody will purchase the car in the last week of the year. He will wait for 1 week. Nobody is going to purchase the car on 26 December 2021, because he will get a stamping of model that is 2021 का model है. Instead of that, if he waits only for 6 days, he gets a stamping that model is of 2022. That 6 days will make a difference. So there will be huge surge in the demand in the month of January first week for the vehicles. So accordingly, HR has to forecast. So the production department will give in writing that in the month of January, I am going to need so many helpers, so many feeders. There will be huge surge. So they should be able to, supply. hmm. So they should have, the team. They should have the sources to meet this gap, I said. So that's why they should be able to forecast. Because if they plan properly, then only that labor or staff will be available at reduced cost if they plan it properly. Otherwise, क्या होता है? If it is emergency, then they have to, काम तो करना है. So if it is emergency and if it is not planned properly, then they have to give extra. They have to pay extra and appoint. So that's unnecessary, I say. Even vehicle manufacturer also, instead of running at the last time, giving overtimes, double overtime for the peoples. See, actually overtime में efficiency तो कम रहता है. Understand? Because the peoples are already tired. Peoples are already tired. So efficiency already come. But we are paying actually double to them in overtime. Many organization, the payment is double. Like if they are asked to stay for 4 hours, they are paid for 8 hours, and in 4 hours, the output is not what he is giving in first shift. Output will be always less, and it is quite obvious because after working for 8 hours, he is definitely tired. HR has to study the environmental factors also. Environment is not only AC, मतलब ऐसा AC वगैरह ऐसा नहीं. Environment means this is what is most important. What are the environmental factors which are affecting the HR process? Before that, what are the 5 stages of the forecasting process? that you have to identify the goals. What are the organization goals, objectives, plan? 5 साल में organization what is going to do? Whether they are going to manufacture only Bolero or what are their plans? So what kind of people they are going to need? Are they going to diversify? Are they going for new technology? So what kind of people will be required? So that is very important, and that is the duty of HR engineer. Demand requirement क्या रहेगा? इन हाउस स्किल्स है क्या? डू यू हैव ट्रेनिंग facilities? Determine the net demand requirements, okay, and accordingly develop the plans and program to ensure that right people are there in the right place. Okay, so there is a place for everything, and the right peoples are placed everywhere. Hmm. So I was telling you about the environmental factors, which is important. So what are the environmental factors? Economy. So these are the factors which affects the HR process. Labor markets, unions. If union is strong, it's very difficult to negotiate. If union is strong, whatever the union says, you have to accept. Fortunately, now union is not strong. Hmm? But earlier, I tell you, the unions were very powerful. I am talking about 90s. Very powerful. अगर union जो भी demand करता है, you have to give. Otherwise, the production is stopped. वैसे the union leader if you ask नहीं हमको डबल ओवर टाइम चाहिए, yes देना ही पड़ेगा. Normally in small companies overtimes are paid but not double, not even 1.5 times, single only. If it is a medium scale company then they give 1.5 times, and जो बड़ा बड़ा company है they pay you double ऐसे. So overtime is actually a bonus for the people, I said. So that's why the peoples are after the overtime, because if the salary is 50,000 per month, and if he is working every day for 4 hours extra, then he is going to get again 50,000. I said he's going to get 50,000 again. So just for 4 hours, and you won't believe sometimes the shortage is such that people they work for three shifts continuously, three shifts continuously. Then they take 1 day rest. Even though he is willing to continue, but then it is not actually allowed as per the norms. Sometimes I have seen the people they are working for the 4 shifts. Myself, I have worked for the 4 shifts continuously. First, second, में engineer has supervisor absent. Third shift में supervisor absent, and then first shift में my regular duty. 4 shift continuously without any rest. ऐसे. Of course, the engineers they don't get overtime, but the workers they get overtime. Now, suppose if one person is working for 3 shifts, and अगर एक शिफ्ट का if he is getting 2,000 rupees suppose for a shift in companies like Mahindra, the people they earn 50,000, 60,000, even the workers also. So even if it is 50,000 for 25 days, so if he is getting say 2,000 for a shift, then one more shift extra, so he'll get 4,000, and one more shift extra, so again that 4,000. So if he's working for 3 shift, उसका पे earnings becomes 10,000 for that day. 10,000 हो जाता है एक दिन का कमाई. So that's why, but then it is actually a burden to the organization, बराबर ना? It's a burden to the organization हो जाता है. Unnecessarily they are paying more because of the absenteeism. So many companies, so they have a concept like floater operators. So wherever there is absenteeism, they go. These floater operators means he floats. Wherever there is absenteeism, he goes there and works. So there is a, this is what is called the floater operator, or something like a cushion, cushion or spare peoples. But many times what happens, the workers they inform at the last minute ऐसा emergency है, I cannot come करके. So the HR or even manager also cannot plan, so he has to come and request the existing person, अरे बाबा वो नहीं आ रहा है, continue करो. Sometimes ऐसा है that people they don't bother to inform also. नहीं मेरे को टाइम नहीं मिला, नेक्स्ट डे आके बोलेंगे, मैनेजर चिल्लाएगा, अरे तुम इन्फॉर्म क्यों नहीं है, तो मेरे को टाइम नहीं मिला, आई वॉज बिजी. हाँ, और रेंज नहीं मिल रहा था, सो देयर वाज नो वे टू कम्युनिकेट. क्या बोलेंगे? वैसे देन इकोनॉमी इज one of the factor everywhere. Labor markets, unions, the unions they had very good, dominating and aggressive role earlier. Government laws and regulations, you have to, गवर्नमेंट लॉ बोलता है कि मिनिमम वेजेस एक्ट, अगर 800 रुपीज़ पर डे है या 500 रुपीज़ पर डे है तो उतना देना ही है. नाउ डेज तो वर्कर्स आर वेरी एक्सपेंसिव. मिनिमम अनस्किल्ड के लिए 800 देना पड़ता है. यू माइट हैव सीन मेनी कैजुअल लेबर्स स्टैंडिंग आउटसाइड द स्टेशंस, ऐसा ग्रुप रहते हैं, वो कढ़ाई वाला, पेंटर वाला. हाँ, दे चार्ज 800 रुपीज़ फॉर 7 आवर्स. उसमें भी दे विल टेक, कंपलसरी आपको उनको 2 चाय देना है, खुद का डब्बा लेके आते हैं. सो ही विल टेक हाफ आवर का ब्रेक और 2 ब्रेक्स, मीन्स एक्चुअली ही विल डिलीवर ओनली 6 घंटे का आउटपुट, 5.5 to 6 आवर्स ऐसा है. मिस्त्रीज, जो मिस्त्रीज रहते हैं सिविल में जो काम करते हैं या कारपेंट्री में, दे टेक 2,000 to 2,500 रुपीज़ for 6 to 8 hours. So it is very expensive. So that is what is I'm talking labor markets. These are the rates in Mumbai. Now same rates will not be there in remote places. So there maybe it will be available at say 500 rupees. So that's what the market means. Then industry and product life cycles, technological changes, competitor labor uses. So this is what so HR department they need to have a close vigil on these factors. Global market for skilled labor, उनको मालूम है अगर मेरा लेबर स्किल्ड है, हाँ, then they have huge market, anybody can hire them. So he has to retain those peoples. Demographic changes, like die makers, tool and die makers, so they have huge demand in everywhere, in Gulf countries, in European countries. Indian tool and die makers, they have huge demand because tool and die making उसमें कैसा रहता है कि there is some manual intervention is required, manual skills are required. So manual skills Indian laborers are best because 100% cannot be automated. No doubt there is a lot of automation in foreign countries, but wherever the manual skills are required, they cannot be automated. So they have to depend on the people. So that's why the Indian tool and die makers are very much in demand. Even the medical people like nurses, they are also in good demand. Like in European countries, there the people they are afraid even to give the medicines. They feel that मैंने उसको touch किया at the time of giving the medicines, then I may contact, I may get infected. मेरे को भी एड्स हो जाएगा अगर मैंने एड पेशेंट को सर्व किया तो. So you won't believe sometimes they employ a robo to feed the medicines to this AIDS patient. But many times, there is that human touch is required, like massaging bolo, all this, taking temperature वगैरह. अभी infrared कितना होएगा? Nothing. So for that, then what they do, they hire the peoples, from other countries. So wherever manual intervention is required, those type of staff is in demand. ऐसे अदर फैक्टर्स एचआर का भी खुद का पॉलिसी रहता है. देर इज ऑर्गेनाइजेशन स्ट्रक्चर बिकॉज दे कैन नॉट पे मोर टू समवन एंड लेस टू, सो दैट इज गोइंग टू affect or that is going to pollute the current environment because others may feel bad. Hmm. So it depends upon the structure and restructuring also. Hmm. So HR should have a current forecast, they should have a short term forecast, as well as they should have medium run forecast and long run forecast also. Hmm. So long run forecast means what is my requirement about the staff after 5 years, or after 3 years, or after 2 years. So that is what they have to plan. Hmm. So these are the activities of HR department. Of course, a lot of material is available. Virtual HR has played a very important and vital role during this COVID pandemic. Hmm. So, virtual HR refers to the process of providing a range of options through the use of various type of technology to employees in order to connect them with HR services. So, physical intervention is avoided here, and then this modern technology, cloud computing, digitization, this has helped a lot for this virtual HR. So networking has played a very vital role in virtual HR. So what is e-recruitment? E-recruitment is also known as the online recruitment. So during this pandemic, many peoples they have switched their job. Many those who have switched their job, they have not seen the office of the company, new company where he has physically, I mean, physically he has not gone there, physically he has not visited, and he has switched and he is working, sitting at a home. So that is what is your e-recruitment and e-working, online recruitment. So it's only because of the networking. Okay, so it is known as the online recruitment. It refers to the use of web-based technology for the various processes of attracting, assessing, selecting, hmm, recruiting, and onboarding job candidates. Right? So, what are the e-recruitment elements? So, they have to track the applicant. So, many times, Naukri.com, LinkedIn is the most, important tool for e-recruitment. So even you also should try this, LinkedIn, your biodata. So LinkedIn is very useful for getting the employment. Employees website, so they have the tab which is called as the career opportunities. Career opportunities, that tab is there. So wherein you can apply directly job boards, hoardings that carry the advertisement, uh, online testing, social media. Like Facebook bolo, Twitter bolo, LinkedIn bolo, so all these are helpful for e-recruitment. So advantage, now, isn't it? Now TCS, many companies, they are, TCS तो बोलता है कि 5 साल तक तो we are not calling the staff for 5 years to their offices, physical offices. Okay, so let them work from home. Many companies, HR, IT companies, or even non-IT companies also, they are declared that till December they will not call the peoples. Let them work from home. Many companies, they have shut their offices because घर से चल रहे हैं. So why to pay the rent, why to pay for the electricity, and obviously if the employee is called, okay, then he will switch on the fans, switch on the then canteen, all those things. So that is a huge saving. That is a huge saving. Hmm. So e-recruitment also, it is very cost effective. And it is fast. Another advantage is it is very fast. Like email, like earlier में कैसा courier करो 2 दिन 3 दिन लेगा. So now within seconds, you get the applications. Generally, e-recruitment disadvantages, it is not suitable for the senior position. Because इसमें क्या रहता है, the pool of the candidate is low. Then high volume of responses, including large number of unsuitable candidates. That is the disadvantage. अभी email में क्या रहता है, many people will apply because it is low cost. So even I also used to apply like this. चलो अपने को क्या पैसा थोड़ी जाता है, वही अगर सेम इफ आई हैव टू कुरियर, अरे नहीं कुरियर करना है 50 रुपया लगेगा कुरियर के लिए, हाँ, या 100 रुपया लगेगा स्पीड पोस्ट करना है. सो आई विल थिंक whether really I am suitable for that post, then only I will send it by the courier ऐसे. बट वही अगर मेल से है तो मेल से मेरा को तो पैसा नहीं जाता है, मेरे खाली कनेक्शन चाहिए तो भेज दो. अंडरस्टैंड. सो दैट्स व्हाई इफ only 100 peoples are suitable, you will receive application at least 500 5 times, and then definitely you have to go through all this, all these applications, I say. So that are some disadvantages of the e-recruitment, so that also you have to bear, I say. So this HRIS human resource that we will see in the next class. So probably in the next class we'll be able to complete this uh, HRIS e-training and human resource planning, and then I will come to OP Khanna. That is also a good book. Okay. Thank you very much. Anything you want to ask, please feel free to ask. Okay, thanks. Thanks a lot.